Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Entrepreneur and Enterprise Development Series. My name is Podiso Mudirwa, and I am, as usual, with Moemedi Sinmelo. Moemedi, welcome.
Thank you, Podiso.
Today, we're going to be talking about characteristics of an entrepreneur. And one of the traits to have as an entrepreneur, we know that is discipline. I'd like for you to elaborate on that, on the importance of having discipline as an entrepreneur.
Thank you once again. Talking about discipline, I would say, like John Maxwell would say, he refers to discipline as the master key for success. So without discipline, an entrepreneur cannot do so much. We have seen people starting businesses, opening businesses, and in the process, not continue, end up closing shop because they didn't have that element of discipline which could carry a person for years in building up a business that can become profitable in the future. So with the lack of discipline, you tend to not have priorities, or your priorities are not right. You just, whatever that comes, you just accept it. You go with the flow. You have no clear focus of what you want to achieve with your business. And it happens that people who are not disciplined in business, it's hard for them to succeed. It's rare for them to succeed because if you don't have discipline, any distraction, anything that comes along the way is going to take your attention away from the main goal. And soon you'll be out of business. So it is important to have discipline. The most successful business people, they have discipline, whether it has to do with financial management, it has to do with employee relations, it has to do with everything that has to do with the business, every aspect of the business. It takes discipline to build something solid, to build something that is worthy, that can survive for years.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Thank you very much. I've been reading a very interesting book, Brian Tracy's book. I don't know if you've read it, on focus. And I understand that as also one of those characteristics that are important to have. Talk to us a bit about that.
Yeah, I have read the book.
Interesting. How did you find it?
It was a recommendation. So that's how I discovered the book. So yeah, talking about focus, focus is the same as discipline, or really it's hard to separate discipline and focus, because if you are disciplined, then you'll be focused, and if you are not disciplined, then you'll not be focused. So focus is a very key element in when you are a business person, when you're an entrepreneur. If you don't have focus, a lot of things are going to come on the way, and every idea that comes to your mind, or every proposal that someone presents to you and say, let's venture into this, if you're not focused, you're going to be investing in all the ideas. You're going to be draining your business finances and putting them in all the new ideas that people are bringing to you or that are coming to your mind. But that is not how you start. You start with one idea, you start with one business, you focus on it, you build it to become the best, to become the biggest, to become an industry leader. After doing that, that is when now you have excess cash flow, you have enough money to invest in other ideas. That's when you can now diversify. But if you start with multiple ideas, multiple business at the beginning, it's so easy to lose focus. It's so easy to drain the business that is really making money with those many other small businesses that you'll have.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And talking about building a business, I believe that that has a lot to do with building relationships as well. And that requires trustworthiness. Can you talk to us a bit about that? How do I make sure that my trustworthiness as I know it translates to my relationships in building my business?
Looking at the element of being trustworthy is a very important element, because you deal with customers, you deal with employees, you deal with suppliers, you deal with a lot of people in the business, or sometimes even shareholders or partners. So one way or the other, whether you are alone in the business or you have partners, there's someone that you have to be accountable to. There's someone that you're going to make a promise to. Your business is going to have a promise. You say, okay, we deliver in 3 days. So if your promise is that you deliver in 3 days or you deliver in 30 minutes, if you're a pizza guy and you're saying your delivery is within 30 minutes, so it's important that you honor that, not to get your pizza after 3 hours when you said the delivery period is 30 minutes. So it's one of those things that if you don't take them seriously and you keep on repeating that on your customers are going to go away. You don't honor your word. You said the order takes 7 days, and after 7 days the order is not here. You said the order takes 3 months. After 3 months the order is not here. So all that, it chases away customers. If even coming to your suppliers, if your suppliers agreement is that you should pay them in 30 days, let it be 30 days. If you can't pay them in 30 days, can you communicate? Can you explain to them the reasons why there is a delay? So all that's what builds trustworthiness. But if you decide to switch off your phone, you decide to block people because they want to they want to get that money having supplied you with goods, then you are going to lose your trustworthiness. You are going to lose your creditworthiness. People are not going to want to do business with you.
That's true. And what can you say about creativity and innovation?
As we have discussed previously, one of the key elements that sustains or keeps a business for the longest time is being creative and innovative. We've looked at companies that had to close down because competition were innovating and they were not innovating. So when you're an entrepreneur, one of the elements that you have to be looking into, that you have to build in yourself, is being creative and innovative. It's something that you can't, it's hard to delegate to maybe to your employees. It's something that you, as the idea, the person who came up with the idea, the founder, you have to be responsible. It has to be part of your job responsibility to keep on looking into the product and innovating it, to keep on looking into the service and innovating it, finding new ways of how you can serve your customers better, how you can make it more efficient, how you can make it more cost effective, more productive. So it's just you revising your product over and over again. In publishing, you would print a book, and then after some time you say, okay, second edition. The other time you say third edition. So that is even with products. There should be that. You have seen with phones, you'll have the iPhone, you'll have iPhone 5, iPhone 6, iPhone 7. Now we are at iPhone 13 or so.
I don't even follow,
yeah, it's around iPhone 13 now, the latest. So yeah, that's innovation. They keep on changing something in the previous product that you find it in the new product. So that is why they have different versions of the same product.
Awesome. I believe that you are a business person. How has failure been instrumental in your journey? Because I want us to talk about perseverance, and I understand that it ties to failure. So what would you say, or maybe let me say, talk about the importance of perseverance and also just about how failure may have been instrumental in your journey or useful to you.
I have failed so many times that I can't count. I remember there was a period in time where at the end of every year, the business sort of went bankrupt in terms of its being able to meet its current financial obligations. So that happened for a period of 7 consecutive years.
That's a long time.
Yes, that was a long time. All the way, just from 2011 up to 2017 or 2018. Yeah, we would have that end of year where the business just doesn't have income. It doesn't have sufficient capital or cash flow to run its operations, and sometimes we had to make tough decisions in the process. So from those failures, I have learned to rise up and learn from the mistakes and even prepare for that period to say, okay, if this thing happens, it's not a coincidence when it happens. There should be a preparation that has to be done so that when we get there, it doesn't look like it's a coincidence. It doesn't look like it's a surprise. It's something that we prepare for, we are ready for, we can face it every year.
Interesting. Let's talk about the ability to sell. as an entrepreneur? Can I be one if I'm in, like, sales is not like my best? If I'm not good at sales, can I be an entrepreneur?
I think no. Someone can say maybe they can hire a salesperson. Maybe that might work. I'm not sure. But the best person to sell the business in its infancy, in its startup phase, is the entrepreneur, is the founder of the idea. You are the one who understands your idea better. You are the one who is intimate and connected with your idea, that you can convince the next person to buy into it, to run with it, to get a part of it, or to buy your products or your services. So without that, really, like Robert Kiyosaki says, the number one skill of an entrepreneur is selling, and that is very true. Without sales, nothing will go on. You can have the best product, you can have the best service, everything excellent, everything top notch. But if you can't make sales, very soon the shop has to close. Very soon the business has to close, because what are you doing there? How are you going to run everything when money is not coming in? Sales bring money in. So if you can't make sales as an entrepreneur, really you need to learn how to sell. If you are shy, you're not so confident to stand before people and sell, you have to go and take public speaking lessons. You have to take courses on public speaking and build that confidence, and take courses on sales.
Awesome. Can we talk about risk taking as a trait to have, like, that you need to be a risk taker when you want to be an entrepreneur?
I would say really entrepreneurship is risk taking. You cannot say you are an entrepreneur and you want to play it safe. You don't want to take risks, because for people who play it safe, people who don't want to take risks, they don't start. They will have beautiful business ideas that can make millions or billions, but always when it's time to start, they would find the reason why they should not start, because of the risk factor. But if you see someone having the confidence and the guts to get that idea out there and break off the shelf, you know that person is a risk taker, because they would have invested capital, they would have invested time, they might have quit their job, they might have done something really, which is a sacrifice on their side, which is a risk to have started. So every entrepreneur you see is a risk taker.
Awesome. What about being book smart? Can I start a business? Can I succeed as an entrepreneur if I'm not that big of a reader?
I think book smart in this context, not really. I don't know if it's about the readership, but in my understanding, book smart is someone who has studied business management, someone who has studied entrepreneurship, someone who probably studied accounting, and they come with business knowledge from school. And they come with that confidence that I did business management, I did administration, I can run a business, I've learned how to run a business. And it's one of the elements that are necessary in business. But we can't rule out the possibility of someone who hasn't studied courses in business, who didn't read as much, and say they can't run a business, they can't build a successful business. Because you have seen of so many people who have built successful businesses without necessarily having done a degree in business or a diploma in business.
Awesome. Would you say that being book smart ties in together with being street smart, or maybe explain what that is, being street smart, as a possible trait to have?
Really, when you talk about someone who is street smart, we're looking at someone who didn't necessarily go to school to learn maybe business management, business administration, or accounting, or finance. They just had an idea, and they just started on the idea and worked on the idea and built a business around that idea. And in the process of that, they learned about business management, employee relations, every element of the business, accounting, finance. They learned it by maybe reading personal development books, attending 2 days, 3 days courses, watching webinars, all those elements, they build up. When you say someone is street smart, it's like they don't predominantly go to a typical college or university to acquire knowledge on business management. They just acquire it from unconventional ways, like reading books of successful entrepreneurs, attending workshops or business sessions that are organized by successful entrepreneurs or business coaches. So those are, and those two elements, when you combine street smart versus street smart and school smart, they are both important in the running of a business. Yeah. At one point, when you grow as an entrepreneur, even if you didn't have any qualification and you were able to build a business and it finds ground, there's a time when you will need to have those skills. If you don't get them yourself, you have to bring in people who have those skills, because they would understand, they will take the business to another level that maybe what you have learned at that level can't take it further than what you know. Like John Maxwell will say, your business cannot grow beyond your level of personal development. So that is it. So you need that at one point.
Great. Thank you very much. The last question that I want to ask, or I want us to talk about, is going the extra mile. As a business person, what would you say? What can you say about that?
One thing that someone who wants to be a business person or who is already in business, they should understand, especially if you come from a background of a career, you used to waking at 8 and then knocking off at 5. Maybe you are free on weekends. So when you become an entrepreneur, it totally changes, because when you are working, you have your job description, your employer gives you a job description and your work, and when you come to work, you just do what you have to do, and then at 5 you knock off whatever that is you didn't finish. You're gonna see it the following day. Unlike with being an entrepreneur, there's one work that is done behind the scenes, which right now, if you are still working, is done by your employer. But the moment you become an employer yourself, now you have to do the behind the scene work. That's where the going extra mile comes in, where you have to be the person who is coming at 6 in the morning to open up and start pushing some work, and be the person who leaves late at 8 or 10 p.m. because there's some work that needs to be done, that the following day needs to be fulfilled. It needs to be sent to a customer. Yeah, that's really going the extra mile. Is about knowing that in the building phase of a business, you have to sacrifice your time beyond the normal working hours.
Great. Thank you very much, Mwemedi Sonelo. And thank you to the viewers for watching. Thank you for hanging out with us. Until we meet again, take care.
I must admit that we've been through challenges, but mama, you hold me down, down, down. Constantly hoping you'll notice I'm trying to make you proud.